GameGlobe calls it quits. Blade & Soul goes free-to-play in China. Ragnarok Online's spiritual successor Tree of Savior reveals some early details, and Marvel Heroes introduces PvP. These stories and more are on this week's episode of Free-to-Play Weekly. Good news, everyone. The hyper-stylized martial arts MMO Blade & Soul has just launched free-to-play, but with a catch, it's only in China. Hey, no one said you were going to be able to play Blade & Soul for free in the West and have it localized in English simultaneously. As confirmed by the foreign MMO site Steparu, Tencent, the publisher responsible for overseeing Blade & Soul in China, will kick off the open beta for Blade & Soul without an IP block. Starting this week, players may log in and enjoy the MMO's majestic martial arts completely free, just in Chinese. Blade & Soul is still scheduled to be released in Western markets under publisher NCSoft. However, NCSoft hasn't revealed what payment model they plan to use. Players interested in trying out the Chinese version of Blade & Soul can follow the link in the description box below for more information. It can be sad announcing a game's demise, especially if the game in question seems to have produced something different from the crowds of clones that constantly flood the market. Unfortunately, an interesting premise is not immune to poor execution, and the build-your-own-experience social MMO GameGlobe suffered greatly because of this. The MMO originally enticed fans with the ability to create unique game experiences, but locked new items away, forcing players to grind excessively in order to continue building. Attempts were made to open up all build features for players later on, but in the end, the publisher's efforts were in vain. An official announcement on the GameGlobe forums from the developer stated they've just not been able to make it work. The game will officially stop service on November 29th. In a universe filled with superheroes fighting supervillains, Gazillion Entertainment has finally found a way to have superheroes fight themselves. The Fire and Ice update adds PvP to Marvel Heroes courtesy of the recent 2.0 update, which also unlocked new areas, balanced several heroes, and added the first playable villain, Loki. Fire and Ice pack its own respective punches though, featuring 2 teams of 5 tasked with guarding allied giants while defeating enemy giants as they move to destroy the opposing base. When players successfully kill an enemy or giant, they gain a runestone which can then be traded in for a variety of buffs. In order to promote both balanced PvE and PvP, the introduction of Fire and Ice will also mark the introduction of separate skill balance between the two. This will ensure a balanced PvE ability isn't imbalanced in PvP and won't have to be adjusted because of it. Players will also earn rewards including a new form of currency as Guardian Crowns used to purchase new PvP gear. Fire and Ice is currently labeled as beta, but seems to be integrated into the full game already. A new gameplay trailer for the upcoming Korean action MMO Tree of Savior may go a long ways towards filling the pouring-sized hole in players' hearts that aches for a worthy successor to the original Ragnarok Online. Originally codenamed Project R1, Tree of Savior's art style is immediately reminiscent of an updated Ragnarok, and for good reason. The MMO is being developed by IMC Games, with the project being spearheaded by none other than Ha-Kyu Kim, considered by many to be the father of Ragnarok Online. Tree of Savior features incredibly colorful environments thanks to a combination of 2D characters and a mixture of 2D and 3D environments, with some bosses also being 3D. The unique art style blend helps sell Tree of Savior as an updated take on Ragnarok rather than an entirely different type of MMO. But that's not to say that Tree of Savior hasn't adopted some modern gaming traits. The MMO does feature a non-target based combat system which, when coupled with the camera angle, draws similarities to ARPGs. IMC Games debuted the trailer at this year's G-Star in Busan, Korea. During the presentation, IMC stated Tree of Savior Online possessed 80 different classes to play and 200 unique bosses. The first round of testing is scheduled to begin in February 2014, with no word yet on when or even if the game will head to the West. It will have been just over 3 months between Neverwinter's first expansion, Fury of the Feywild, and its second, Shadow Mantle, whose release date has now been revealed as December 5th. The Shadow Mantle module will add the MMO's first new class, the Hunter Ranger, and continue the fight against the Lich leader Velindra Shadowmantle in the Dread Ring. If you aren't interested in trying out the new class, or you haven't had the time to hit max level in most of the MMOs you play, there's still some new Paragon Pass for you to check out. Shadow Mantle will introduce a new path for each class come launch, with each path adding brand new feats, buffs, and power skills. The newly unlocked abilities are available starting at level 1. Not only do these paths give you new abilities, but they're tailored in such a way to provide a whole new angle of utility. Using the Guardian's Fighter's new Swordsman path, the fighter can trade his tankiness for crowd control and additional damage. Even the Control Wizard has finally mastered Magic 101 and can now choose to wield fire-based attacks. The majority of anime MMOs that come out nowadays possess some sort of pet or companion feature. But while some merely add window dressing to an otherwise lifeless auto-attacking AI, others try to infuse at least some personality and flair. Area Games hopes to win players over in both areas with Eidolon companions in their upcoming MMO Aura Kingdom. The Eidolons are capable fighters who possess dazzling player-companion combos. Outside of combat, the Eidolon retain memories of players' past accomplishments, including boss kills, and will converse with the players about these experiences. Players will get the chance to choose from one of 4 starting Eidolon with the opportunity to recruit additional Eidolon as they progress through their journey. Eidolons range in size, with some of the larger ones such as the Pink Unicorn also acting as mounts. Aura Kingdom will feature more than a dozen companions at the game's launch, with more promised in the future. And the game of the week is Duel of Champions. Duel of Champions is a captivating online card game set in the richly detailed universe of Champions of Might and Magic. Produced by Ubisoft, it's currently available through Steam. The focus of Duel of Champions is to bring the opponent's hero's life to 0 before the player's hero is defeated. This is accomplished by, of course, using cards to deploy creatures, events, spells, and a special card type called Fortunes, which allow players to briefly twist the rules of the game in their favor. In Duel of Champions, players may choose from over 40 heroes split among 4 factions, each offering their own unique playstyle. Players looking to outlast their opponents may favor the healing protection of the Haven faction, while others may be interested in raining down destructive fire under the Inferno faction. Players can engage in one of 4 modes of play, ranging from a single-player campaign to multi-bracket tournaments with varying rules and special prizes. Those looking to build their own deck can do so with ease using the in-game deck builder, which also allows a player to mix and match hundreds of collectible cards. If you're looking for a flashy TCG with deep strategic gameplay and a high amount of customization, then be sure to check out Duel of Champions. And that's going to be all on this week's episode of Free-to-Play Weekly. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section below. And be sure to head over to MMOBomb.com for more free-to-play action. Until next time, Natsumii out.